Hey guys, what is going on? It's Ando, and I'm gonna do some GAC recaps now. If you guys have been following along from my life, where have you been? Just kidding. But I had a third child, so it's cut away from my streaming time as is expected with any newborn. So just wanted to post a GAC video where we're up against Hego Damask with Gid, Liquid Schwartz. And yes, I've dropped into K2 again. Just been sort of busy doing, the whole parenting thing. But I thought there were some interesting fights in here and just wanted to post a video. It's much easier for me to just kind of post a 20-minute video, even with the cutting and editing, than again, just doing like a 2-hour long stream. So let's start with the first fight right here. We're starting to see a lot of the Imperial remnants come about. And, I know they can do a lot on offense. I didn't really know what they could do on defense. So I decided to take Bo-Katan Mandalore here and kind of figure it out. What I will say here is, I've obviously misplayed this a little bit, as this is my first time playing it. You can't really be expected to do this. The misplay really happens once I get Bam into birds. I think you should just go ahead and select OG Moff Gideon, because he's sort of just doing this, AoE annoying thing that happens. So just so you guys know, if you guys choose to do this fight, definitely kind of go after Bam, especially because again, my thought was, again, just not remembering and misplaying and all this other stuff. My thought was, oh no, well, what happens if he revives him? Not remembering that Bam's birds is a instant kill, right? So it's not, or not an instant kill, but it's not revivable. So just for your future reference, right, guys? And then once you get that off, you'll get your demoralized off, so you get your offense back and stuff like that. Still a very easy counter. Yeah, I mean, if I had to take a gander, right, like I would say bring that Imperial remnants on offense. Now, they gave us an Inquisitor Kron, but they don't have the new Barris. So with that being said, I was like, man, well, this just is asking us to use Phoenix. And I'm also just gonna go ahead, like, this is a longer battle, so we've all seen this before. It is a little bit tankier, right, just because of the Ninth Sister stuff. But it was relatively easy. Same thing as always, right? Just kind of specials. And then really, like, I think you should just probably lean into Ninth Sister more than I do in the video. But yeah, it's a very easy counter. But I just want to go ahead and say something else too. A lot of these fights, again, we're kind of figuring things out, especially what's going to happen post the support crons and all that other good stuff. So just be aware that there's going to be, we're kind of seeing with this, this 3 meta system that we have. We're going to be seeing a lot of variability. Now, I know in some cases, like, there's going to be a lot of people that actually like that because, that makes the meta, so to speak, a little bit less stale. Although I will argue that once something is figured out, people generally tend to kind of go with the meta. So like, it's always funny, like the discussion of the meta is this kind of really niche conversation because it's only non-meta for a little bit, and then it'll become meta because people will say, oh, that's actually way better than this, than this cron or this, character that I can put in here, right? So just keep your eyes out, like, as we're starting to enter into the 3 set rotation, and we're gonna start seeing a lot more variability for the first few weeks, and then I think you'll start to see it settle down because people are gonna be like, well, that's the meta, right? Like, why would I deviate from this when that's the meta? So yeah, just wanted to kind of put that out there. Don't be frustrated. I say this all because I've seen a lot of people say they're frustrated with GAC, and the set crons, those are very frustrating. One, with how they were handled with a fix, and two, with just sort of everything else, right? That goes along with that. They're extremely overpowered. So just know that, like, while GAC I know is taking a hit right now, I do remain somewhat positive on, you know, the fact that we will be returning to some sort of normalcy. And I think the new normal is going to be, hey, it's going to take a little bit, right? It's going to take some times where you're going to feel like a fool because you tried to do something that would normally work, but because this person used a different cron this time, right, it didn't work. So just want to put that out there. Now here's another fight that's brand new to me. They gave us the, you know, the Forlom cron, or I guess it's the Asajj Ventress bounty hunter cron, but fact still remains, right? I didn't know it would work. I actually looked this one up on GG and I was like, oh, this is perfect, because I had no real plans for Afra anyways. So yeah, this is a hilarious fight, honestly. I would not put this on defense just because of how overpowered this is. Or if you're going to put it on defense, try to bait out, you know, Afra. Put in Jabba, who's absolutely useless. We can go into that later, but yeah, Jabba is just absolutely useless. All right, so decided to take Inquisitors here against Maz Kanata. And yeah, you know, it's a fairly long fight, and you're gonna have banner bleed here. I will also kind of elaborate on my strategy this season. It's been heavy defense. So I actually don't have a ton to play with. Normally, like in seasons past, I've tried to keep around four-ish GLs. You know, the pairing of Pirate King Hondo, Rey, Lord Vader, and a lot of times Jabba kind of just stays on defense. So, you know, there's the 4 out of my 10. Every once in a while, I'll try to spice it up a little bit, add another GL. I think currently I'm bringing only 3 GLs onto offense. So, yeah, it's a bit of a discovery period for myself, because I'm trying to figure out, is this doable? And I know it's doable, but just like, you know, I know that, you know, like for the sports fans, right, you can say that something is doable, right? I don't know, baseball or basketball, you can say that, you know, hitting every 3-pointer is doable. You watch someone do it. Is it doable for you? And that's oftentimes what I try to get to people when it comes to GAC, right? Like, there's a lot of people that watch videos and they watch streams, and my argument to them is not as a demeaning way, but hey, do you have the same account as them? You know, are you facing the same level of opponents and their skill level as them? Because if you're not, you're changing part of the equation, right? So yeah, got a 62 there, a little bit of banner bleed. Now I will say this: when I open up this back wall, this changes some things, because there is a Jabba and there is also an Ahsoka Tano with the Wat Tambor and, you know, things. So I do have Lord Vader on offense, and it was slotted for, you know, a Maul, a Stranger Maul team like this, with a, you know, nice Relic 10 Maul here. So instead, though, I need to kind of deviate here, because again, I am running so low on GLs and I'm trying to, you know, do some things. So I go for Visas Mar here, and I think that's somewhat smart. I think I could have potentially got Starkiller out, but then you risk the revive, because, you know, according to the Datacron, her revives can't be prevented, and if they can't be prevented, then the whole Jedi Vanguard stuff of, you know, not allowing your opponents the ability to revive kind of goes out the window. So I went with Visas here. I figured, well, you know, at least we can maybe break this up a little bit, and I was hoping we could get one more out. Unfortunately, though, Starkiller just starts doing Starkiller things. I decided to keep it, and then I'm going to run Balin here. Now, personally been really liking Balin with Zal and Mission, and I've recently, upgraded both of them because they're kind of gonna be pseudo required, I guess, with the Basilisk Sean stuff, or not Basilisk, sorry, Satil Sean, and yeah. So, and with an attacker cron with all these debuffs flying around and stuff like that, it's actually, this is pretty solid. And the ability to go outside of, a taunt or mark or whatever you want to call it, is pretty nice as well. So my hope here is that we just kind of get Starkiller out. Boom. There it is. And that's a Relic 7 Shin. And so, yeah, you could see the damage. And Mission does some decent damage as well. But yeah, this is nice that we can kind of go outside of taunt, and kind of really select who we want to select and get the damage that we need to get. So yeah, but yeah, kind of going back again to what I was saying is like I've kind of changed my style of play just because these crons are so crazy, and I've been a little bit more tempted, especially with me down here, against people that, again, just frankly speaking, don't have the same roster as me, right? I've fallen too far, right? I would like to think that even though I might not be a Kyber 1 player, I have a Kyber 1 account. And so we're starting to see, I was trying to see like, hey, can I kind of limit people on clearing me? And can I get, this done? Like I've heard of people, placing even all 10 GLs and still full clearing. But again, for me, who doesn't usually have a ton of GAC Omicrons and stuff like that, I just didn't know if it was possible. So again, I'm sort of figuring out, hey, can I do this? Can I go a little bit GL heavy here, and figure out, does this style of play suit me, and can I find success in it? So that's what a lot of this week is going to be about. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to post every single one of my rounds recently, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So obviously Relic 10 Maul, huge pain, especially against my Relic 7 and 6s, huge Relic delta difference there. So definitely felt that. I don't know if you can get cleaner than that. I don't know, again, maybe if I had like a Relic 9 Balin and Relic 7 or 8 Mission and Zalbar, maybe then it can work. Maybe even like a Relic 8 Shin. So I actually make the mistake here. I make the fatal flaw here pretty soon. I don't do the AoE. So if you're going to take this fight, make sure that you do the AoE days there. I failed you. I'm sorry. And but yeah, we still make it work. It's just going to take a little bit extra because now everyone's not dazed, right? And so I also will say, with the Imperial Remnants Cron coming out right now, like this is going to be a lot more of a pain to pick because of what Moff Gideon does. I know you can still run this counter. It just is a little bit trickier without Moff Gideon, especially because, Relic 9 Vayne is a tanky boy, and you want to get those armor shreds on him as soon as possible, so that way you kind of do a lot of damage early on. So, I know it can be done, but this counter, I think, is, like I said, it's going to be a little bit more niche. And I think I guess they had the tank revive cron here, which is annoying. So at this point, I'm like, hey, I want to get another kill so that way we keep the TM going. I want to try to build up my stacks because we haven't been able to do that because I was, a little bit absent-minded whenever I should have been dazing people. I was just kind of adding offense up, and now I don't. Normally by this point, right, we have like 40 stacks, and we are just kind of one-shotting everyone. It's not happening right now because, again, we've made that mistake on our own, and we're trying to correct it. So a little bit of a sporadic, targeting, a little bit sporadic way of kind of going about this, but I promise there, my method does have a little bit of a madness here. as we definitely, and I can tell if, yeah, I think he still does have evasion up, which means that I basically can't hit him. Oh, well, there we go. I guess I did. And okay, we do have days on him. So yeah, you know, eventually, right, if you, so long as you don't panic, I think you can kind of get around this. And I will say I will miss the roll crons for troopers because, man, they can kill a lot. I mean, right, like they're the reason. Honestly, whenever I thought about going a lot more defensive heavy, they're the main reason. Imperial troopers was the reason for me that I decided, hey, I think I can go a little bit heavier. Now, I took a team, I took 501st in first because I wanted to try to get a kill. But the kill that I wanted to get was actually Ezra, and it just wasn't working with you know, this one. Now I've had it plenty of times where I was able to kind of get this you know, get Ezra out, and then it's a super easy cleanup, but unfortunately not this one. So obviously now we don't have to worry about revive because of Terra Malicos, who, again, if there's a guy that's you know, stonks are up on, it's Terra Malicos, right? He's absolutely crushing it. I even added R8 to him recently. Again, I know a lot of people would say, wow, I can't believe you are just now adding R8 to him. But you know, I don't do a ton of GAC stuff. And like, here we go here, just an AoE smash. Gotta love it. So again, pivoting, I wasn't planning on seeing that comp of Ahsoka, so now I've got to kind of figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do against Shaba? And I decided, you know, I still had like, I think I still had like, you know, a couple GLs left over, but I was like, you know what, I want to see if this can work. You know, I didn't know this team. I've invested quite a bit. You know, I've given them 2 Amis, and so I open up with Tenacity down. Then I kind of want to get the TM train rolling. I want to add that AoE fracture everywhere, and man, we're doing some good damage. So I thought to myself, man, I think we're, you know, this is gonna work. I really like this right now. And if you didn't see, they do have the Cad Bane DC. I don't know what it is, but you know, I will say, you know, kind of foreshadowing here what's gonna happen. I don't quite understand what happened, but Cad Bane just starts to almost act like Silvo, where he dodges everything. Now I know he got a touch up recently, so I don't know if that's what it is. I couldn't think of anything in the cron that made this kind of not work. So yeah, I don't know. Long story short is I don't know what happened here, but the video will stop because essentially we time out, and it's just a timeout where I do no damage because Cad Bane dodges everything. And I can't target Jabba until Cad Bane is gone. So yeah, we just left over these, and then I end up cleaning it up with Mon Mothma. So yeah, just foreshadowing a little bit, but again, I just want to see if this works. Does it, you know, again, something about this, I don't know what it is. The evasion down, maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe there's a way that I misplayed this. I don't even know what that touch up was really. I just remember that he got one. He's such a niche character that I know whenever it came out, I was like, I don't really care. But apparently I should have, because yeah, he caused me to time out. So if you guys know, leave the comments, leave your note in the comment section below, so that way I know next time, so that way I don't make the mistake of whatever it was. You know, I'm not sure, but yeah, it's just 5 minutes of me doing this essentially, or I guess another 2 minutes of it. So cut out of this, and then yeah, I think it'll probably just go into the next thing. Yeah, so got that, and he placed Afra on defense for us. So I decided to try and take JML, and unfortunately they open up on that move, right? I think if they opened up with Doubt, there would be a lot more variability in here, and so I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know that she just used her revive, so I know if we end up getting the kill on BT1, we have some time. So just gonna go ahead and do the swap. I wanna get as much, yeah, I want to get as much time away from this. Right now that we've got riposte, yeah, we're really gonna do well. And yeah, get the stun in. Again, wanted to stop the doubt from hitting, and I should have, right, seen that coming because of, you know, good old BT1, man, doing BT1 things, right? Want to push the cooldowns back on her a little bit more. And these dots, I will say, you know, they add up. They don't feel great. That being said, right, I think again, just I haven't found like a super good use for Aphra. Like not one that would be like super convincing, like, oh my gosh, like here we go. But that being said, right, JML kills her. Now there's a banner bleed there, so maybe that's part of your strategy moving forward. He did place a Lord Vader team, and this was, you know, or not a Lord Vader, Darth Vader duels end team. And it's a serious one, right? Like, it's a Relic 9. So I just decided, right, I've still got this team. You know, it'd be silly for me to try other things. But yeah, basically we link, you know, I linked Emperor Palpatine and I linked Darth Vader duels end because I wanted to get them out as soon as possible. And from there, right, we just wait until we can zap, and I think this video will cut out as soon as we zap. So yeah, we ended up winning this one. I actually think this is the one that my opponent just like actually didn't even show up for. Like, he didn't get a score at all, so unfortunate for him. He won't even get the crystals for participation. But yeah, well, like I said, these are, you know, these are good videos for me to do right now. Let me know if you guys want to see anything else. But I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one.